Spider-Man Lotus. Spider-Man Lotus was a movie that was made. Um, it doesn't have much of a plot. It doesn't really have an antagonist. It's just it was made. It was created. What it has to do with the Lotus, I have no fucking idea. But it certainly was made because I watched it, and it was 2 hours, or more like an hour and like hour and 45 minutes, and a lot of credits for no explainable reason. So when watching the movie, I first watched it with no context. Right, I had absolutely no fucking idea what was going on, or the origin of this movie, or why it was made. And while I was watching it, I'm like, wow, this is fucking boring, right? And I hope to God, I'm like, I will not accept the fact that this is anything other than an amateur production, right? Anything other than just like, oh, this is like something for like a film class or some shit, right? And thank God it was. Thank fucking God it was. Usually I would put like a spoiler warning, but I think this movie is on fucking YouTube, so go watch it if you really like boring yourself to death. But it's honestly not like it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. It's a lot of boring. There's a lot that could be cut out. There's no antagonist. Half of the movie's fucking flashback, and the other half is pretty much just the characters talking to each other and going on way longer than they really need to. The movie starts off strong by like pretending it's a real movie, and I'm convinced they use like half of their budget in the first like 10 minutes, and that gave the fuck up, right? Because the first 10 minutes, it's like, first off, you start with a scene of Spider-Man swinging around the city in his rubber ass suit. That's like, it's the first thing you notice is, fuck, that suit is shiny. It definitely looks very CG. It's not like, fuck it, it's definitely CG. The whole thing's like very rubbery and CG looking. Like they might as well have just like taken footage from the Spider-Man games and had Spider-Man swing around the city like that. But it tries to hook your attention, right? Which is a good thing, by having a fight with Shocker. But this is the first fight, and really the last fight. There's one more in like a flashback sequence, but this tries to almost tricks the audience into thinking that this is like a legitimate movie, right? And this fight is rough, to say the least. There's a fuck ton of shaky cam. It feels like a fucking World Star video, and like sometimes the camera's just like fucking shooting at the floor and shit. And it's like it's really scuffed. The Shocker guy is not a convincing villain. Like, he's just like in the Shocker suit, and the Shocker suit, I will admit, honestly looks kind of good. It's not half bad. The Shocker honestly looks like a better Shocker than the Shocker that they had in the actual MCU that they just had as a jobber, right? It's a pretty decent Shocker suit. The only issue is the guy that they have wearing the Shocker suit does not fit the Shocker suit very well, right? And also, for some reason, I don't know what he's fucking doing during this fight scene, but he's like, like, he's all fucking like slanted and shit the whole time, and he's like doing like this. I don't know, like, I don't know what they're trying to show here. I think it's just bad acting. Because I think it's supposed to be like, oh, the energy's flowing through the fucking gloves and he's gonna shoot it, but he's like fucking doing like this shit. It looks like he has rickets or something, and like some points you see his legs are all slanted and he's like this, and he's like, I'm gonna fuck you up, Spider-Man, and he's like starts going like this shit, and it's just like, it's hard to watch. But the fight scene serves its purpose as just a jobber throwaway fight, and it's like, oh, look, that's Spider-Man. But that's it. It's pretty much your first and last fight. So there's one more fight after that, but it's like, it's not really a fight, and it's even worse than the fucking this, right? And it's like 1 minute, and it's just like Spider-Man going, ugh. So already it feels very scuffed. It's like a fucking homemade video, right? But for what it is, this part is actually not half bad, right? But where the execution of this movie goes really wrong is it's fucking boring. They go into some shit where Spider-Man's being all mopey, and he's like, it's like talking about the past, right? And he's like, oh, I remember the good old days where we used to like hang out as like buds and shit, And I don't know why the fuck I'm doing this, but he's like, oh, I remember the good old days where like I was banging Gwen and shit, and then I should have like married her when I had the chance or whatever, yada yada yada. Said the things I should have said. So you get the sense of, oh yeah, Gwen's dead. Right? Gwen's dead. So they already have this kind of solemn tone in place. And this scene of them, like, Spider-Man's like, usual Spider-Man shit. He's too busy. He's fighting crime and stuff, so he doesn't have time for his personal life. And he comes in, he's already missed the movie, and he's like, oh, he's got his fucking excuse and stuff. And Gwen's all upset, right? Because he didn't watch the movie with her. Sad, right? And he kind of regrets that now because it's like, oh, he didn't get to spend time with her. Now she's dead. She's gone. Yada yada yada. Right? So we already have that. And one thing I do like this film does is when they finish that scene, right? They do this slideshow, and I actually really do like this because while it's being like the opening sort of credits, right? They do this kind of slideshow, and they almost recap a whole movie that never happened. This is a really good way of doing it because we already can piece together what happens just by this, because we're assuming that everyone's seen the original Spider-Man movies, right? The Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, not Tom Holland, the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, right? And if you're watching this movie, you've seen these movies, right? So the story is nothing new. Green Goblin gobbles up all the green, and he starts throwing pumpkin bombs that turn people into skeletons. And then something, he kills Gwen, and we get a sense of familiar imagery, like him being impaled on his own glider, like in the Tobey Maguire movie, and we've got the whole picture, right? It's almost like a recap to a movie that never happened, and it's all shown in a minute or two while they do the opening credits, and it's a good way of doing it. But, and then they show that, and it's like, okay, we get the idea. You don't need to show anymore. We understand now. We don't need to go back to this. We're done here. We know what happened, right? Gobbler gobbles the green, gobbles his girlfriend, and then he dies, right? And for a good couple minutes, they stay away from going back to that, right? They do a good job of just moving onwards. They have this scene where he's mourning Gwen's death at the grave, yada, 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 something about a Make-A-Wish kid, blah, blah, blah. And then for the first 30 minutes after that kind of credit slideshow, they do some, like, normal shit, like, oh, like, Spider-Man mourning Gwen's death, Harry being all sad, oh, my dad died, oh, boo-hoo. And while, like, yeah, some of that is, like, they take so fucking long on this shit, right? And it could easily be condensed down by a lot more, right? They have this whole thing with, like, Harry taking pills and stuff. He's doing drugs and shit because he's sad that his dad died. And they do, like, this dream sequence of Peter Parker being more sad. And it's like, okay, we get it. Y'all are sad. But the thing that pisses me off is about 30-minute mark. They really start to drag their feet, and they do, like, some goofy-ass shit. And this is while, like, the first bit is like, oh, that's boring, but it's, like, normal movie shit, right? The first bit that actually pissed me off was, they have it in 30 minutes in, right? 30 minutes in, this motherfucker pulls up the gets a hard drive, pulls up the laptop, and starts, like, watching videos of, you know, the good times they had, right? Of all four of them together, Gwen, MJ, Harry, and Peter. And it's like 5 minutes of sad music while watching the good times they had, which is just the actors dicking around and fucking playing at arcades and shit. Like, but yeah, they just spent like 5 minutes playing sad music over Peter watching the videos of the actors fucking around, right? And then, oh my god, and then right after the sad music, it's like, okay, that's a normal scene, sad music. It overstayed its welcome because it was so long. Didn't need to be as long as it was. And then right after that, immediately after that, no breaks, no nothing, no scene between that. The exact next scene, they stop the music. There's no more sad music. The sad music's gone. And they start a different sad song. A different sad music song starts playing over Harry Osborn walking around the fucking city, being all sad and mopey. He starts walking around the metro. He looks over this bridge for like a solid minute. A solid minute. Which it didn't need to be that way, right? It did not need to be like this at all, right? And it's like 10 minutes of straight sad music. Of just like both of them being mopey and two different sad songs. You can't put two different sad songs back to back. You're killing me here. It's just like, it's just too much.
Fuck, dude. Alright. This is all in the sad song. Sad song. He's walking. I'm gonna go jump off the bridge. Come on. Like, You're showing me nothing here. You're just wasting my time here. And this is 3807. And you're right? About 30 seconds, almost exactly 30 seconds of him just fucking lean forward looking over the bridge. Holy shit. And he's back to leaning. That was about a whole minute. There's just nothing of him just sitting there. It's like we get the point. He's Sag, and he may or may not kill himself.
Right? They all, like, you can't put two sad songs back to back, my dude. So, okay. What they could have easily done, and if they hired me as the genius and professional businessman that I am, right? If they hired me, what I would have done is I would say, fuck that shit, that is stupid. We have one sad music, and we play Peter Parker watching the video of the good times they had while Harry Osborn is being Moby walking around the city. And you do those both at the same time. Both of those scenes, way too fucking long. Overstay their welcome. Both of those scenes, similar premise. Both of those scenes, sad music. They don't need to be two separate scenes. You can make them one scene. And that's what I would have done. Saved, take a 10-minute thing, make it like 3 minutes, right? And then right after that, I thought they were better than this. Right? I talked about how they did the slideshow. It's like, oh, that's cool. You get the whole sense of the first movie, of a non-existent first movie, and you understand what's going on. But then, immediately after all the sad music, they do like a 20-minute flashback sequence of the Green Goblin and the Spider-Man fight, right? Which it's like, why? But why?
It's just boring. Cause it's like I know what's happening. Like I already like I felt like this was already explained to me, and oh god, this is combat. Whoa, this is combat. Like I said, this shit looks cheesy. This shit looks home fucking made. And all this shaky cam and shit is the same problem I have with the Shocker scene. The fucking shaky cam everywhere. Oh look, he's Spider-Man. Said, but we don't need this fight scene. We got the fight scene from Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Is that web fake? Did they just put that shit on in post? Oh, fuck.
We already know what happened. You already gave us everything that happened through the opening credits. And you're just gonna go back and do it again. And they have like MJ's death and stuff, and she's like, oh, fucking. And like, Peter's like, oh, ma'am, like trying to pretend like he doesn't know her, and he's like, are you okay? And she's like, Dad, and he's all sad and shit. He's like, no, like, yada, 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 right? You could have had, like, we already knew all of that. And you could have easily cut all that shit out. 20 fucking minutes of nothing that we already knew, that we already got a sense of. So they gave all that flashback, 20 minutes of flashback of simply nothing, of what we already established, right? And then after that, we have, like, MJ's, like, honing shit. She's, like, looks like a prostitute. And she's at, like, some, like, party and stuff with Flash Thompson, right? And they talk way longer than they need to.
Oh, my God, dude.
I think he hated me, too. He stood up for himself much.
Oh, God.
Leave it alone. Osborn's back in town.
Fuck, how long is this? Alright, it's done. That was a scene that just sucked.
It was, like, something Thompson's like, I was jealous of Peter, yada, yada, yada. I wish I was like Peter. He always got all the looks from the girls and shit, and yada, yada, yada. And I was like, it was like a 5-minute scene, dude, and I tuned out. I was already pissed off by the last, like, 30 minutes of just, like, bullshit nothing, right? That didn't even need to be in the movie. So I just skipped over that, and I honestly didn't feel like I was lost at all. That conversation was boring as fuck, had no point. And then we kind of get into the main plot of the movie, which the sad part is I didn't even know it was the main plot of the movie, and I thought they were going to do literally anything else in the movie other than this, but no, it wasn't. The main plot of the movie is MJ gives this letter to Peter, being like, oh, there's this Make-A-Wish kid, he's terminally ill, yada yada yada, he loves Spider-Man, he wants to see you. And about an hour into the movie, Spider-Man goes to see the Make-A-Wish kid, and it's all right. They, like I said, the pacing's awful. It's just Spider-Man's like, hey buddy, and it sounds really fucking muffled, even worse than my mask. Like the costume is like, it sounds more muffled than even me. And I have a shitty $20 mic plus a mask with a shiesty underneath the mask, and it sounds worse than me, right? For fuck's sake, right? And hey kid, I'm Spider-Man, and he's like, Spider-Man, and he starts showing him around. He's like, oh, look at all my stuff, and he's like flexing his toys and stuff. He's like, oh, look at my toys, look, I love Spider-Man. Like, fucking everything Spider-Man. I'm like, kid, you got a problem, right? and then Spider-Man, he's got to fucking one up this kid because Spider-Man's an asshole, and he's got to be like, oh yeah, those are some pretty cool toys, kid, but you ain't got these. And he's like flexing his like web slingers and shit, and he's like, oh, look at this shit, I made this when I was your age, pussy. It was something along those lines. I kind of filled in the gaps because this movie was killing me. And then they play video games for like 5 minutes. Like it's like super drawn out, and he's like, the acting's, it's not great. So it's just, it feels very scuffed. He's just like, oh hey, the kid's like, take the controller, and then Spider-Man's like, ooh, controller. I play video game, and then he's like playing the fucking video game. It's a Spider-Man video game. It's like a beat 'em up. And then the kid's like explaining the controls in like a very awkward way, and it's just like, you don't need so much detail on a fucking video game. You could have just had him play the game, and then out of no reason, no context, no reason why, just randomly out of the blue, he goes, why'd you save that girl on the bridge?
What happened to the girl on the bridge?
What? Excuse me? What the fuck? Just like, no fucking reason at all. The kid just like pulls the most out of pocket shit just to like, I don't know, it's like Spider-Man's most recent blunder, and like just to make him feel bad or some shit. He just pulls this out of pocket shit just to make him feel bad. And it's like I was just like, what the fuck? I'm like, and okay, so I have a live reaction, and I might splice it up a little bit, put it over this, but they have this part, and it's like, oh, why didn't you save him? And then Spider-Man looks over, and he's like kind of like sad, or maybe what the fuck. You can't tell with the mask on. But they show over, and it would have been a perfect. This is something that really bugged me, really fucking bugged me, because clearly it's just a video. There's no game here. I don't think this is a real video game. There's no game here, right? This is just some animation someone cooked up. It's just a video that's playing, and they have a Spider-Man controller, right? And they're just talking to the kid while doing this. But this would have been a perfect fucking time for this, to have it when the kid pulls the most random, weird-ass, out-of-pocket shit, saying like, oh, why didn't you have the blah, blah, blah there, right? He looks over to the kid, and the video game's still playing, with him still doing actions, and Spider-Man's not even looking at the screen. And the video game is still playing, and he like beats the level and shit while he's still talking to the kid. This would have been the perfect opportunity, and while it is cliche, while it has been done, it'd be the perfect opportunity for the kid to say that shit, right? He looks over at the kid, and he's not paying attention to the game, and he dies, and then while they're having this emotional scene, you have like kind of like a symbolism sort of going on, saying like a game over, you lose on the screen, right? And then they pan away, and Spider-Man doesn't give a response. Fucking gold, dude. They should have fucking hired me. But instead, they just have this awkward-ass scene of Spider-Man still beating the level while looking at the kid. He's still fucking gaming on the sticks while looking at the kid, and it's like, the fuck did you say to me while he still beats this game with his fucking eyes closed? Because Spider-Man's just built like that. And then it's like there's more scene of like Harry crying, and then they go back to like the kid, and then they do, and so I shit you not, I have a live reaction, and I'll put it up. I shit you not, I was watching this movie, and I thought, and when they went back and gave the flashback of the Gobbler, which I didn't think they were going to do at the start, because of the slideshow, right? They gave the Green Goblin flashback fight, and I thought, why would they do that? Why would they do that, right? And I gave an example saying, everyone knows the original Uncle Ben origin story. because of this, there's no reason to go back and do the origin story. And I said I applauded them for not doing the Uncle Ben origin story, which they didn't do. And I thought they wouldn't do it. And then wait like 10 more minutes, right? And guess what they do? They have a flashback, redoing the entire origin story. He goes, I was bitten by a radioactive spider, and that's what gave me my superpowers. And then, I was in a, like, cage match, and I was doing it, using my powers for bad. I was just trying to get money, because, and I had no responsibility in my powers, and then Mugger came, and I could have just stopped him by just, like, stopping him, and then he killed Uncle Ben, and it's all my fault. So I went, and I unleashed the wrath of God on the Mugger, and I felt really bad, and I promised that from then on I would only use my powers for good. And it's like, we already know all that shit, and they went back and did that anyway, wasting my fucking time. And I thought, Spider-Man Lotus, I thought you were better than this, but you weren't. You fucking weren't. And therefore I had to watch another fucking Uncle Ben origin story, another fucking one, which you didn't need to do that. You didn't need to do that. They didn't do that in the MCU Spider-Man. I don't think they even mention Uncle Ben in the Tom Holland Spider-Man, right? You didn't need to do it here.
We don't need this. The point of the little slideshow is so we can skip over all of this. That's like, if they start the movie, there's nothing about Uncle Ben, they don't do any of that shit. And then midway through the fucking movie, they do the whole Uncle Ben thing, great power comes great responsibility. And it's like, why are you wasting my time?
I got my powers from an accident 5 years ago.
Oh, fuck you. No way they're doing what I said. Like, no fucking way they're doing what I said. No fucking way they're giving the Spider-Man origin story here. Thought this movie was better than that. I really did. And then if you show Uncle Ben die, if you show Uncle Ben die, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm gonna lose my cool. Ooh, when I catch you, Ricky. Ooh, Ricky, when I catch you, Ricky.
And yet they waste my time with this. How much time is this? It starts at about 1:05. The origin story, it's about 5 minutes, right? And then more talking to the kid. They don't specify what he has. They just say he's terminally ill, and it's not like he's like, at least he's not going through leukemia. He's going through chemotherapy or anything, because he's not like bald or anything. They couldn't even put a fucking bald cap on the kid. So it's like he's just terminally ill. He's just whatever, right? And they talk more, and then they have this scene of MJ and Harry talking, and it's like, it's long and very cryy, and it's like, I still love you, and then Spider-Man gets all like moody, and he tries to like walk out, and then his mom talks him into talking to the kid more. He's like, oh, he looks up to you, and then he talks to the kid, and then the kid like is like, I love Spider-Man, and like, no matter what happened. Then it's been a while. It's been a while since I've watched the cartoon, but I remember that there was an episode of the Spider-Man cartoon where Spider-Man reveals who he is, right, to this little girl, right? There's this scene, and there's this little girl, and she's like, oh, can I see your secret identity? And Spider-Man tells the little girl, no. You can't if people knew my secret identity. Me or my loved ones could get hurt, yada, right? And then she's like, please, and then he's like, okay, fine, I'll show you. And then he shows his face, and then she's like, oh, like, yay, you're just some fucking guy. And then he jumps out the window, goes on with his life, and they show an outward view that it's like a children's hospital, right? Like a hospice or something, right? Which means the kid is going to die. So it's like a Make-A-Wish thing. And they do the same thing here. They straight up knock it off, but it doesn't really have the same effect because you already know that the kid's terminally ill. So it's like, it doesn't really have the same effect. But like the weird thing is he takes off his fucking mask, and then he's like, holy shit, you're Peter Parker. And it's like, how do you know that? And it's like, okay, yeah, Peter Parker's the person who takes a lot of the pictures of Spider-Man, but it's like, dude, he must be the most famous photographer ever. Like, how would you, like, who remembers any photographers? It's just weird. It's just weird, right? Unless there's already conspiracy theories that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, considering that he has more pictures of Spider-Man than anyone else. It's just weird. But yeah, the kid is like instantly fucking knew without a shadow of a doubt that, oh my god, it's Peter fucking Parker, like he's some kind of celebrity, like he takes off the mask and he's fucking Kanye West. Like if I took off my mask right now, no one would fucking know who I am because I'm just some fucking guy, and he's just some fucking guy. So it's like must be the most famous photographer ever, but it goes on for a lot longer than it has to, and then it's just like, and then I'm sitting here and I've already lost interest. I think I was playing Sudoku at this point. And then they have another fucking scene. They like have just more crying and moping scenes, and I'm like, where's the fight? Like, is there? I was waiting for the antagonist to show up the whole time. And it's like, nope, there's no bad guy. You've been fooled. The bad guy was the friends we made along the way. And then they end it that actually, no, the bad guy wasn't the friends that we made along the way. The friends we made along the way were the friends we made along the way. And they all have a big group hug. And then Spider-Man goes, you know what? For that little kid who may be partially retarded and terminally ill, I'm going to be Spider-Man again. And he goes and he gets into his CGI suit that looks really bad and really shiny. And then he goes off to save more people as Spider-Man. And that's Spider-Man Lotus. What it had to do with a Lotus, I don't fucking know. But yeah, that was a movie that exists. What rating would I give it? Fucking bad. It was boring. Very boring. And it really could have been cut down to like an hour, even less. But considering, like I said, considering that this is like an amateur project, I don't feel like it was that bad as like a project, but in the grand scheme of movie things, this is a 2 out of 10. This is not a movie worth watching. But I'd say it is a movie that is worth existing, right? Because this is a non-profit, for fun kind of amateur project, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what there is something wrong with is me wasting my time watching this. So. I give it a 2 out of 10. Solid 2 out of 10. If it was any worse, like any fucking worse at all, it's hard to be that much worse, but it would be a 1. There really was no conflict other than, I guess, the internal conflict. But it drug. There's a lot of shit that was unnecessary, and if they hired me, the movie would at least get it's got like a 3.2, like a 32% or some shit. On I think IMDb, it would get at least a 4 if they hired me, because it would at least be an hour long. Or I mean, I could cut it down to an hour and still keep the same effect. Still be boring, but just not as long. Yeah, that's about it. That's really all I have to say. Why this movie was made, though, I guarantee you, I did some research, but I kind of got sidetracked. I went down a rabbit hole about something about the Peter Parker guy being racist and a Duggar or whatever the fuck. I don't give a shit, honestly.
Alright, before I start recording, I want to do some research on this, because let me see if there's anything interesting here. Spider-Man Lotus racist? Hold on. Oh, yeah. Alright. Fuck. Whoa, I didn't expect that to be the first result. But, I'll have to check that in a second. Not yet, though. We're saving that one for last, because that's gold.
But, the thing that I was thinking about was, the reason I think this movie exists is, it says it's not affiliated with Sony or Marvel, but Sony still owns the rights to Spider-Man, right? And the reason this movie exists is so Sony can keep the rights to Spider-Man, and really no other reason. So I'm like 90% sure that Sony just sold the rights to, fucking whoever, which were these people, whatever independent amateur studio made this shit, and was like, yeah, make whatever the fuck you want, we don't give a shit. And if it flops, who cares? Sony keeps the rights, and if it does well, who cares? Sony keeps the rights. So at the end of the day, Sony wins. And just like that shitty Fantastic Four movie with Dr. Mountain Doom, it really just exists so Sony can have rights to it. But yeah, that's it. It was a movie. That I watched. The end.
No. Not my vaguely oriental white girlfriend. Fuck. It's like you can't get a real ginger. God, I hate the fucking it. The hair between Gwen and MJ in this, the hair reminds me of it's like a lot of like Korean dramas and stuff, and like Japanese movies shit. Right, I watched some of them like Korean Japanese movies, right, and they have like the live action ones, and they always have these characters with crazy colored hairs, right. The best ones are when they pretend to be white people, right? So they have like all these dyed hairs, and they all look like this. They all look like this, and it's just I find it off-putting because it's like it's not normal. It's not a natural color, and I don't know. I got a thing against dyed hair. I've never liked it. I've never thought it looks good. No color, unless it's dyed to look like a natural color, then it looks fine. But like this looks stupid, and like Gwen, I think this one's a fucking wig. Hold on, let me get a picture of this. This shit's a fucking. I think this is a wig. I don't even think this is dyed hair. This hair looks fake to me. But I don't know. I'm not like a fucking cosmetology expert. But this looks like a wig to me. This looks like I could slap that shit off her head.
I haven't seen you in weeks. Harry is gone. Nobody wants to go out with me anymore.
What, so you came to bug
Damn. Nobody wants to go. She literally just said the quiet part out loud accidentally. She wants some dick in. Yeah, get your fake ass hair out of here, bitch. He's morning. At least he's not afternoon. That would be really bad. Dude, I think I'm gonna take a nap. I think I'm at my threshold here. Hold on. Oh, something happens here. Oh, I think it's gonna flash back. Why? Are they gonna flash back to the fucking gobbler?
Spider-Man,
You can't. Where's he going? Is he gonna use the door? What a pussy. Yeah, you must got Spider-Man fucked up if he's just gonna walk out the door like that. He's supposed to come in through the window. Is he not gonna go out through the window? Fuck you. He's just, oh, I'm just gonna walk out. Like, this is low budget. Fuck off. Yeah, this guy's mom is kind of hot, though.
Some coffee? Can I get
Like, shit, dude. I swear to fucking God, dude. What this movie looks like is these two cry and whine for like another 10 minutes, and then for like 20 minutes he talks to this fucking stupid cancer patient ass kid. Or I guess another 10 minutes he talks to this fucking kid with ligma, right? And then he goes back to the grave for like 5 minutes, and then after another 5 minutes they go back and they all hug and kiss for like 10 minutes, and then Spider-Man fucks off and says, I'm gonna start doing Spider-Man shit again. And the movie ends. That's what this looks like to me. No, dude, no way this is the movie.
I know you're still taking the pills.
No way. I think that's where this is gonna go. There's no fights. I'm cheating. I know, I'm cheating.
Just stop.
I know I'm cheating, but it's just like, I can't help myself. This movie sucks so much ass. I'm gonna play Sudoku. While this happens. There's more to me than just heroin and Starbucks. Fuck, my time is ass. I'm gonna get like 3 minutes, man. Shit. I'm actually listening to their sappy ass dialogue. Fuck! 3 minutes and 20 seconds. God fucking damn it. I want to beat my time, but I don't even know if I can, dude. I gotta take a screenshot, and I'm gonna post it at the end of this video. My fucking stupid time. What are they talking about? Fireworks? Dude, and now he's trying to pick up MILFs? Oh, fuck, dude. God, I wish I was fucking Spider-Man. I'd get all the hot mom cooch. Fuck.
That's why you're giving?
It's about the truth. It isn't fair that your son should look up to someone who isn't
Dude,
perfect.
if I was Spider-Man, I wouldn't work a day in my life. And I would just, have a bunch of sugar mommies to give me money. He literally just left that kid's room to go talk to his mom, bro. No fucking way. He could have just went out the window. But nah, he just went to that kid's room to hit on his mom. I mean, I don't blame him. I would too.
Hey, buddy.
You know, her kid's dying or some shit, you know. Make her feel good.
About what I said.
Help her make a new kid.
I'm sorry.
I'm a bad person.
So he was...
I can't fucking watch this shit. I'm taking my headphones are off now. I just threw them on the ground. We're done. Yeah, good movie. Good movie. A solid 9 out of 10. The only thing that's preventing it from getting 10 out of 10 is it doesn't have an antagonist, but very, very interesting and complex internal struggle and dilemma and shit. I'm not even listening to this, so I'm gonna turn the audio off because I don't give a fuck, actually. Because yeah, they're all just gonna hug and kiss, and Harry and Peter are gonna get married, and they're all gonna live happily ever after, right? Yeah, I don't care. Cool story, bro. Fuck.